Sometimes the best moments in a movie or a show are the simplest ones, where two actors get to experience great writing together.
These two men have been in two different worlds heading towards each other in parallel for a long time, and eventually they cross. It's a remarkable experience between the two of them.
Don't fucking move.
Brad did such a beautiful job crafting this collision course that culminates with a real existential crisis between two men that is spiritual and strange and without answers and so wonderful.
The tension is that we love Tom and we love Robbie, and so we're scared the whole time as to what's gonna happen. I think they're bringing two different viewpoints to the conversation. We know where Tom is emotionally in his life, and we know where Robbie is. How are the things that are said going to impact the rest of the story?
Tom purposefully kept himself separated from Mark for the majority of our filming because he wanted those moments when they first met to feel organic.
I never once felt God in my life. There's nothing else after this.
At this point, I don't think Robbie's really afraid of anyone. And I think that Robbie comes to have a respect and appreciation for Tom. Robbie, at his core, he's a really good guy. And I think that it doesn't take long for Robbie to see that Tom is a really good guy, too.
Rolling. Rolling.
Aaliyah opens up to Lizzie in episode 5 because they do have a moment just before the sting where it's obvious that Lizzie is constantly trying to connect with her. It's a case of Aaliyah does want to connect, but she doesn't know how to.
What happened to him?
And so this is an opportunity to extend to Lizzie what Lizzie has been extending to her.
Sort of in the same way that Grasso has reached out to Lizzie, she's sort of doing the same thing with Aaliyah, trying to find her way in. I think actually deep down she's super thoughtful and sensitive towards her, and I think learns things are better when people are friends or when people can kind of actually connect.
I think that the way that Brad writes women, you know, he's used to having strong women in his life because these women are fierce and loyal and strong. It's almost amazing that it is a man writing for these women.
It helps to have such amazing actresses. I think being able to listen to people who have had experiences I haven't had and being able to understand what we need to get out of the scene and knowing that I don't need to get there my way. I can get there using Allison's idea or Sylvia's idea in an attempt to make it more honest and more authentic and more universal, really. I think that's really what we're after, is trying to connect with people.
I had a feeling you were lying to me.
We structured the scene in such a way that he's learned the truth about Erin's involvement in the robberies, and he's come to bring her back to Jason, to have her own up to everything she's done.
And a day before we were shooting, I'm like, well, wait a minute, does Perry mean to kill her? And Brad and I talked for a while, and he goes, no, I don't think he means to kill her. And I thought, well, what if he's just trying to get her to shut up? He's not trying to drown her, he's not trying to choke her, he's not even trying to hurt her.
He has no choice but to put her underwater to silence her, and then by the time he turns back to her, oh, now she's dead. And then he has to carry the secret with him, which puts him in a tremendous amount of conflict with Jason, his closest friend and ally in the story up till this point. I think the idea that he hasn't come to kill her, but ends up having to kill her, makes it a lot more tragic. Slowly and then all at once. That's how I always looked at Grasso, is that he made one small decision, a bad decision, and then he was completely underwater. And I think Grasso is a guy who's dealing with the guilt of that the whole show. And he's a good person who's made a bad decision, and then he got wildly in over his head, and he's been stuck there ever since.
And there's a line that Brad added in the show. He said, "We're cutting it too close this time." I think prior to this, there's always been a removal of his involvement within it. And in this case, his actions are directly affecting people he cares about and has grown to really care about over the course of 5 or 6 days. And now people's lives are at risk.
Hey, I think something happened to Tom.
The internal battle of the show, really, for Grasso is this kind of constant questioning of his own morality in the eyes of his God and his religion.
The relationship between Grasso and Jason was something that was discussed between myself and Brad and Fabien, and we kind of liked the idea that they were maybe childhood friends, that maybe Grasso grew up knowing people in the club, and we liked the idea that they'd kind of probably known each other for a very long time. Brad was hugely in favor of that and really supportive of that.
You're a decent man, Tom.
Tom sees Robbie as something that's more than just a common criminal.
You walk straight into those woods for a mile or so. You should be good.
And creates that space for him. They both become emotionally intertwined with each other and end up caring for each other in an atypical way.
And you get to walk into those woods, Tom.
Robbie's done a very good job of keeping his plans secret. I don't think Tom's aware of the danger that's coming. He believes he's looking for Robbie and Robbie alone.
By the end of episode 5, we find Robbie where he just wants to get himself mentally and emotionally and spiritually ready for what he's about to do. I think he just wants to ground himself.
Robbie!
And Tom's got other plans.
Put the pen down! It's over!